We were so proud of our boy Bucky.
That's my son.
What's up, everybody? We're the Creepy Couple. I'm Mike.
I'm Sam.
And today we're going to be talking about episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Real quick, though, we will be talking about spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, please go watch that and then come back and see us. We have a lot of feelings about this.
Here are my two PSAs.
Okay.
If you live in New Jersey and you drive in the left lane and you're not doing 75 and above, move. Move your ass. Nobody wants to be behind you. Get the fuck out of that lane. Number 2, you don't have America's ass, sir. It is flat. Flat as anything. Don't come in here and try and pretend you're Steve. You're not Steve. Get over yourself.
So she's obviously referring to U.S. Agent John Walker. We get way more of him in this episode, which we don't really want. We both hate him. But he's a huge problem, don't get me wrong. But an even bigger problem is definitely the U.S. government in this episode.
As always.
So they basically made U.S. Agent John Walker the new Captain America and have him parading around like some celebrity public figure, something Steve would never
Steve
in
would
a
hate
million
this. Steve
years
is probably
want.
looking down at this like, the fuck is this?
Why is he looking down when he's still alive?
He is not still alive.
Don't kill this for me. Don't end this for me.
Sebastian Stan literally said it's really cool to be the last 2 Avengers with Chris Hemsworth that are alive. The originals. He's dead. Steve was, as Bucky says, a punk. Yeah, he was. But he was a good person.
Yeah.
This asshole is just like, I'm the greatest thing in the whole world since sliced bread.
Yeah. I mean, he comes out to a live Good Morning America interview on the old high school football field, and they're talking about his accolades and everything. Now, while he did have a lot of accolades, and he did do a lot of service in the U.S. military, not once did they mention the super soldier serum. No. At all.
And they also, the reporter was basically like, Steve Rogers who? Who was that? They basically were like, yeah, he's better than Steve. That is so rude. Oh my God.
It was heartbreaking, but the most heartbreaking part of that
was Bucky.
So then they cut to Bucky. Now, I want you to do the face soon, okay? Because they cut to Bucky watching this newscast. They cut to Bucky watching this newscast at home, and the most heartbreaking look you have ever seen anybody have. His entire world was crushed.
Yeah, I can't fathom what he was thinking in that point, and it's just so sad to see him like that.
I know what he was thinking.
What he was
Fuck up. And then not long after, you see Bucky talking to Sam and questioning him, well, basically interrogating him and fighting him about giving up the shield. And you see 2 very interesting forms of grief.
You see 2 5-year-olds fighting.
They do bicker like an old married couple throughout the entire episode.
They literally act like they're 2 5-year-olds fighting over which Ninja Turtle is the coolest.
She used to be a teacher assistant for a preschool, so she would absolutely know this.
That's exactly how they act. Exactly.
But they show 2 very different forms of grief. You could definitely see Sam accepting it more. Yes. And just like, this is what the world is now. This is what happened. We have to move on. Whereas Bucky, basically condemns Sam for giving up the shield. And he does on multiple occasions throughout this episode.
Bucky's pissed.
He's really pissed. So he's taking it a lot harder.
With a staring problem.
He does have a staring problem.
I love him.
It's true, though, what everybody speculated. We are getting Marvel's buddy cop show. Yeah. That's 100% it. And their dynamic is fantastic because they're so different. I think the best scene was the counseling. That's one of the best damn scenes I saw in any show ever.
Should we practice the soul gazing exercise?
Can we do that? Okay, we're going to do the soul gaze. Do it. Do it. Come on, do it.
Do I have to switch?
Yep. All right. So we're going to do a soul gazing that Sam and Bucky did. All right. I win. It's terrible.
I can't make eye contact with somebody longer than probably 0.5 seconds.
I get that.
And then either I start getting worried for myself or I start laughing.
But while that scene was hilarious, then it got into some real issues.
Yeah.
Then Bucky finally came out and told Sam what we had just discussed, how he's mad at Sam for giving up the shield because that was Steve's legacy.
Yeah.
Which I think they're going to dive a little further into, just because of that comment, Bucky saying that shield represents Steve's legacy. And I think we're going to get into some deeper stuff where it's not the shield that represents Steve's legacy or Steve or Captain America. It's who actually wielded it, just like Sam said in episode 1. Yeah. I think Sam's going to fire back at Bucky eventually with that and be like, you don't need this object to be Captain America. You don't need this object to be remembered as Captain America. The people of Earth will always remember what he did for them. Throughout, especially like Infinity War, Endgame, all this other stuff.
Yeah, and I also think Bucky's not feeling that because they literally were like, well, Steve Rogers in the garbage. They're like that.
Because then also on a more personal level for Bucky, or a more direct level, should I say, he said it kind of symbolizes that Steve was wrong, not only about giving Sam the shield, but wrong about Bucky.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe Bucky's taking it internally that he can't be changed. You know?
This poor man.
Oh, it's terrible. And just like we said about episode 1, the emotions that Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie are bringing to these characters is phenomenal. They are really showcasing their acting chops.
Yeah, I love this. It's picking up now for me. The first episode, I'll admit, I was like, okay, it's cool. I'm happy Bucky's back. He's not doing great, but, you know, same. But now it's like, it's getting into the part where, like, it's getting funny. They're working together. And I'm like, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
This is good. I don't like a lot of that other thing that they call.
No.
I'm not even going to call him Captain America. No.
Bucky did have the greatest line.
Captain Butthole. That's his new name now. I despise
We will for now refer to him as Captain Butthole. So Bucky did have the best line in the entire episode to Captain Butthole after the great fight on the 2 semi-trucks with the terrorist group that thinks the blip is a good idea. You know, Captain Butthole comes in and thinks he's saving the day and tries to pick them up in the Jeep and everything. And Bucky claps back saying, I'm paraphrasing though, just because you have that shield doesn't make you Captain America.
That comeback was
words
stronger.
Were never spoken.
That comeback was stronger than Thanos' snap.
It's very true. Ooh, we looked at each other and we were just like, pride. We were so proud of our boy Bucky.
That's my son.
And then Sam and Bucky eventually are on the Jeep talking to them. And, you know, just when you think everything's going a little okay.
He's like a little sorry.
He's just a little sorry about existing. And then he always says something that puts one of them over the edge. Bucky first, where he just like, fuck off, basically leaves.
Yeah.
And then Sam's still talking to him, but he makes one other line. And Sam's like, it's always that one line, dips out as well.
He's like, no.
But then we saw his true colors at the very end when they're all talking again, because he's always fucking there. That's the problem. That's what I really don't like about him.
Yeah,
I don't like that. And you see that a lot in shows, right?
Yeah, and always when somebody's like that, when they're always around, majority of the time, that means they're up to some shady shit.
They're always untrustworthy. Always.
I don't like him.
I don't either. But then they're bickering obviously out in the parking lot, and Sam and Bucky say that they're free agents. They shouldn't work with Captain Butthole, who he and his partner have. I'm going with it. Who he and his partner have government funding and all this government access and whatever.
They have restrictions.
They have restrictions, exactly, which might be connected in some way to the Sokovian Accords. Now that I'm thinking of it.
Yeah. Those fucking terrible.
So we might be coming back to Civil War on that one.
Because they brought it up in the episode.
Yeah, that's right. They did, actually. I totally forgot about that. They did. So they have all those restrictions. And then friggin' Walker shoots back saying, well, then just stay out of our way. How dare you? How dare you? Well, actually, you insignificant speck on the grounds of the earth.
Also, it's very clear that he has no idea who Bucky was. when he says something like that. Because I was like, do you know who this man is? He will fucking kill you.
And how dare he call him Bucky?
Yeah, that's another thing. Don't be calling... You're not friends.
If Sam can't call him Buck, you can't call him Bucky, sir.
We're getting really sassy.
Because he sucks as a person.
The salt levels are like up to here.
He sucks as a human being.
Yeah, he does. Terrible. Sure, the real man's very nice. Your character's a piece of shit, though.
Another great scene was when they were in Baltimore. And Sam and Bucky go to Baltimore and meet a guy named Isaiah. And it turns out that the government was also giving a super soldier serum to U.S. agents 50 plus years ago. Mm-hmm. So he saw Sam, he said right after Korea? I think it was right after the Korean War. Well, he said it was 51.
Yeah.
And this man Isaiah was sent in to take on Bucky and won. Which is
and
fantastic. But then Isaiah gets very real and says after everything happened, he was jailed for 30 years just so that way the government could do experiments on him.
That's fucking terrible. But again, the government, what did you expect?
It just shows a little more as to the history leading up to what we know, Because we went on this whole thing about how, the super soldier was in Steve Rogers. And that was it. Yeah. And then we knew that some people were trying to replicate it. And we learned that in Avengers 1 because that's why they said Bruce Banner became the Hulk. He thought the key was Gamma.
Yeah.
Civil War, we find out, Hydra's trying it on some other people to make an army of super soldiers. Now we learned the government was trying to do basically the same thing. So how many more instances are there? And we have the
entire group
organization that believes the Blizzard, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all super soldiers. Which, how did they get it at this point? And
I wonder if during the blip they found it or somebody was giving it. And this is what I was talking about when we were watching the episode. I wonder if they're trying to get it around because they're trying to make everybody on the same level, because it's like what is it, one world, one people?
Yeah, something like that. One world, one people is like their catchphrase.
And it's like, does it one people? Does that mean super soldiers? Like they're all the same? And then what happens if another super soldier reacts to it differently and they get a little stronger than the others, and they're like, you know what, I'm better than them, and then you're gonna start like a whole nother super soldier war.
Yeah.
Like I just wonder if that's what we're getting to eventually.
And now, something that's pretty cool is Marvel's now tackling some real-life issues with these series, which is something you need for a series that's going to continue or go multiple episodes, obviously not just a movie. We saw in WandaVision, eventually, Wanda's grief.
Yeah.
And how she's able to handle it.
Yeah, each episode, and they confirm this, each episode dealt with the stages of.
Yeah, exactly. It's which is grief, really cool. Right? It's a different stage of grief, yeah. Very interesting, and I love the writing for that. And now you see some more issues in this show, obviously with the two versions of grief that we said between Sam and Bucky. But now we're seeing some social issues. Again, in Baltimore, not long after they visit Isaiah, we see a couple of Baltimore police officers roll by.
Yeah.
And stop Sam and Bucky as they're arguing in the middle of the street.
And they immediately think Sam is bothering Bucky.
Right.
And it's like, bro.
And go for some ID and everything. And it took the one other cop just be like,
That's Falcon.
Yeah.
And then
he was like,
stopped doing that. But it was Bucky who got arrested.
Just because he missed his court-mandated
and I just want to say, I called it. I called it that the therapy is a mandatory thing Bucky has to go to.
Yeah. But
I can't get over, we're going to try the couples therapy. Like, bitch.
They were basically in couples therapy. It was great. Oh, my God.
It was so funny.
Well, they are an old married couple for sure.
They literally fight like one. All in all, this episode was really good. I loved it.
I thought it was better than episode 1.
Yeah, it definitely was.
And if this is how they're going to continue, maybe like 6 to 9 episodes? I don't know the final count.
6?
Maybe somewhere in that range, 6 to 9 episodes.
I think it's 6 episodes, but they're just longer. They're much longer than Wanda.
If they keep on this pace, then I can only imagine what they're going to be doing by episodes 4 or 5, and then a finale. My God.
I hope we get more Winter Soldier flashbacks.
Yeah, we need more history.
That's my type.
Which is not me. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be doing reviews for all the other episodes as well. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, and until next time, take care.